Let's take attendance. Steve, here. T-Rex, here. TK, here. Now I get this new thing where I gotta read the instruments. Just past low tide, 5 hours to a very high tide, just following our new moon. And the temperature's pegged at 59 degrees. Are we ready for a very interesting Tuesday? What is it, Rex? What did you see? What did you see? What did you see? Oh, here's something different. Dense fog. What is the visibility? Can we see that green sailboat over there? Just barely. This has just been an amazing fog bank up and down the East Coast for days and days. Very humid air. Dew point trying to go into the 60s, but the water temperature is in the 50s. That's why we're pegged at 59 degrees, but it's really a warm 59 degrees. There's a slight breeze from the northeast and fascinating weather today coming at us. That front that's been crossing the nation with all the cold and the snow is on our doorstep, but it's not going to do much for us because we have that potential subtropical swirl that is no longer going to be a subtropical swirl. It's indistinguishable between all the other clouds. Here's the satellite imagery. Very tall clouds casting shadows this morning, and that little low pressure system that was north of Bermuda yesterday is just embedded now in there. You can't even see it anymore, so it's a big broad area of low pressure that's not warm core, but the precipitable water is over 2 inches. Incredibly moist air for this time of year, and there is a weak low pressure system embedded in there, but the big story is the cloud that's coming across Cape Cod, or the clouds coming across Cape Cod that have tops up to 45,000 feet, 8-mile tall clouds with, this one's for you guys in Connecticut and Western Massachusetts, Gully Whompers. I hear that Hilton Catterley, thank you Scott and Dave, used to say that a lot. Gully Whomper, we call them gully washers. Anyhow, incredibly heavy downpours are coming across eastern Massachusetts this morning, and some of the guidance has 1 to 2 inches of rain falling in a very short time, so real deep puddles, and it's kind of day where the lights are going to be on inside the house here in eastern New England with that sort of pseudo-tropical system going by without much wind. There's the wind forecast in the middle of the day. You can barely make it out. You can just see that there's very little wind over eastern Massachusetts. That's sort of the center of this weak low pressure system that's coming through, but it does have the tropical connection, so that's why we get the rain and thunderstorms too. A lot of thunderstorms possible today from especially Cape Cod to the coast of Maine. That low pressure system goes on the coast of Maine this evening, and there's some wind right on the edge of the map near the coast of Maine. Could be gusting past 50 knots. That's what the NAM high res says in that yellow and orange there this evening as that storm goes ashore. And then we get that weather system that's been crossing the entire nation, bringing ski season to the west, and it's just going to be a dry front coming across here. That's going to happen probably, I don't know, about 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning, so that's when the dew point crashes, the red line and the blue line. The red line temperature, blue line dew point, and they've been pegged together near 60 here for the last few days, and they're going to separate, and that means the sun comes back tomorrow, and it's going to get really windy tomorrow, or yeah, I'd say when the front comes through from the west and more northwest and north, actually. Very strong high pressure system coming in, so wind is air moving from high to low. That air is coming from Canada, so and we're in a very warm air mass. Did I show you the temperature yesterday at Highgate, Franklin County Airport in Vermont? 78 degrees. That's the warmest October 25th. Is that what it was yesterday? Since I was 54 days old in 1963, we had a heat wave with temperatures, 80 to 85 in northern Vermont on October 25 in 1963. All right, so this is a really warm air mass. You know, it was record hot in the Central Plains, and if it weren't for this coastal issue, we would have all been in the 70s and 80s, as we were talking about maybe about 2 weeks ago. So my indoor match my outdoor. Yep, both say 59. And if I get a frost here, it looks like it's going to be Sunday morning. That looks like the coldest morning. Look at I don't know if you can see all these spider webs all over the place. Really cool. How are they going from there to there to there? Maybe they wanted to read the rain gauge. 0.04. Now, that rain is on our doorstep, and the NAM prints out 1 inch of rain for me in the next 6 hours. We'll see how that works. So as I'm getting this to press, it's already probably pouring at your house in eastern New England. Western New England probably misses all of this, so it's really from about the Narragansett Bay to Merrimack River and points east for these tropical downpours. Today, And then we're in sort of modified polar air coming in here over the next several days. And what about Halloween? Well, the plot is thickening. We're going to have this strong high pressure system over us with one after another waves of low pressure, almost looking pretty tropical, coming at the, well, not coming at, but sitting off the southeastern United States. So there's going to be incredible pressure gradient. And we're going to have, what is that, 4 to 5 meter surf off North Carolina by Saturday and Sunday. And so that swell, long period swell, should make it up to the south coast. So there could be some swell surfing weather here this weekend. It's going to be kind of chilly, but beautiful with sunshine and very light wind. And then a warm front comes at us on Sunday and probably get some high clouds coming in later Sunday. And then Monday and Tuesday, look at that, it rains again, probably in the order of inches of rain. I think for Halloween, the early call right now is for showers and maybe even some thunderstorms coming at us. Well, actually, that'll wait for the warm sector. Next week looks very interesting. And as for that transition to much colder in the east, it's really not on the charts yesterday. It looks like yet. Yesterday, it looked like maybe around the 5th to 10th, but the models still show. I'm going to watch Alaska. As soon as I start to see Alaska warm up, start the clock for that real cold air coming at New England, and don't really see that there on the guidance. Anyhow, that gull is down there where I left a few oysters on the beach yesterday. With the new moon this week, incredibly high tides are coming in just after noon and very low tides towards sunset if you want to go down there and find some of those oysters. And leave you with a little scene from that to beach combing late yesterday afternoon. And the weather was just about the same as it is now. Looks like the rusted out frame from an old docking system. So with the strongest tides of the month, thanks to the new moon, you get the highest tides of the week, middle of the day, and the lowest tides at sunrise and sunset. Good for beach combing. We may actually be able to see across the bay here any time now. Oysters always attach themselves to something. Usually another oyster. That is a real live baby oyster. That is a real live bigger oyster. Want to do a chemical analysis of the stuff on it. Just scrape it off. It'll be fine. There's one. Looks a little better. Would you? I would. So this couple walks into a bar and says, "Hey, you got any Weymouth oysters?" Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard that one. We do. There's another way of breaking it. Just go. It's hard to do with one hand. Just wipe that stuff off. You know, an oyster filters 50 gallons of water per day, and then we eat them. Seriously. Also some kelp. I noticed one of my Twitter feed, there's a kelp farmer in Maine. I don't know what to do with it, but here it is. Bountiful harvest. You want to see 4 oysters? 1, 2, 3, 4. And the mussels are everywhere. I didn't really stage any mussels, but I can find one in a second. 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. They're everywhere. Yeah, I'm gonna go sell these at the restaurant. There's dinner right there, dear. A whole bunch of these guys too. They're very good at hiding. 3, 4 oysters, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 mussels. You got crabs. You know what's really good? Impossible to find though? Alive razor clams. Love to find an alive razor clam. These taste really good. Oh, and there's another oyster. They're always attached to something. This one's attached to that huge rock right there. Pretty fun coming down to the beach at really low tide. I can hear boats going by, but I can't see them. Oh, swarm of mosquitoes here. I love the CO2. Can you see me now? The dewdrops on the dillweed are still there. How much is that kitty cat in the window? Hey, Steve.